Welcome to another episode of Lavish Anthology. If you enjoy this type of content, then subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on any of our latest and greatest uploads. In the era of Airbnb and budget flights to pretty much anywhere on Earth, it has never been easier for an ordinary person to feel like a millionaire, at least for a few days. Even rooms at some of Europe's most luxurious hotels are now affordable to anyone on an average salary. However, a weekend stay at Bristol or a few days sunning on a Thai beach doesn't cut it for the 1% these days. The richest people have entirely different travel habits to the rest of us and experience the world in completely different ways. If you want to know how the wealthy truly travel, watch on to find out. Completely customized experiences. The wealthy aren't content with simply picking up a copy of Lonely Planet and trying to cobble together an itinerary. They want a tailored experience compiled by people with the utmost taste and insider knowledge. Before they set off on their vacation, many rich people will pay upwards of 100,000 euros to have a luxury guide compile the perfect trip for them. From Michelin-starred restaurant renovations to unique private cultural excursions, all of this will be planned without them lifting a finger. Members Club vacations. Contrary to popular belief, the rich don't tend to travel alone. They may arrive by private jet, but social group excursions are generally the predominant trend amongst ultra-wealthy travelers. Naturally, this doesn't mean booking an under-30s group tour with a package holiday group. Many will enjoy exclusive private members clubs, such as Mr. Green's Club Royale, a VIP casino club for high rollers and people who want to see sights such as Miami Beach, Lapland, and the Bahamas, in the company of similarly well-heeled globetrotters. Even a vacation can be a networking opportunity, very long trips away. Other than money, the luxury that the 1% have in abundance is time. The wealthy value cultural enrichment and know that they want to get it from a 5-day trip to Budapest. They'll typically pencil in trips in one country for anything from 4 weeks to 6 months, allowing them to immerse themselves in the culture and truly feel like a local. There is an army of companies which cater to this, one of the most popular being Beauchamp, which specializes in putting up well-heeled globetrotters in long-term luxury accommodation. Off the radar. When you think of luxury destinations, you probably think of Paris, New York, Milan, or Venice. However, the wealthy don't tend to consider these popular tourist destinations as places to vacation, as they'd rather be away from the crowds. The wealthy tend to go off the beaten track and shack up in places that few tourists have ever heard of, yet alone visited. Luxury-style Bible Tatler has the current hottest destinations for the ultra-rich, as Isfahan in Iran, Lima in Peru, Biletti in Georgia, and St. in Iceland, in case you were wondering. So now you know, if you truly want to experience the world like a billionaire, you just need to arrange a 6-month trip to Eastern Iceland, surrounded by other billionaires, with every day planned out just for you. Simple! The rich often conduct themselves in a manner that the rest of us could quite literally never even begin to fathom. A lot of them earn more money in a day than most of us do in a year, which shocks and amazes us in equal measure. As you can imagine, they like to use their wealth in order to go traveling around the world. We want to try and nail down exactly which forms of transport they enjoy using. After all, we can only dream about a future in which we're in that position, and we want to know how we're going to explore. Number 10. Do they travel by yacht? The answer is yes. The only way you're traveling around by yacht without being famous or rich is if you rented it out for the day and spent a sizable chunk of money for the privilege. People work hard for their money most of the time, and they want to spend it in a manner which is going to make them feel good about themselves. A yacht does that pretty efficiently. And before you ask, no, it doesn't matter how big it is, because a yacht is a yacht. And that's pretty darn cool, regardless of how you spend it. 9. Do they travel by bus? The answer is no. Buses tend to be very common within most societies, and for the most part, quite uncomfortable in comparison to other modes of transportation. While you and I may take the bus pretty regularly, that isn't often the case for rich folks. There are options out there which would suit them better and which would be more convenient, which is kind of part of the problem. Sure, that might come across as us being a bit stereotypical, but we have yet to really be proven wrong in any way, shape, or form. 8. Do they travel by private jet? The answer is yes. There's traveling in style, and then there's this. Even if your private jet isn't the biggest thing in the world, it's still a private jet. The luxury of being one of the only people that a plane caters to is quite overwhelming, and it probably isn't lost on the rich and famous. And yes, that includes those that take multiple trips on it every single day, week, month, or year. This is the option most of us will be pretty jealous about, and there's no point in trying to hide it. A private jet is truly a dream way to travel. 7. Do they travel by plane, economy? The answer is no. On the flip side, there's no point in pretending like someone who is rich is going to sit in coach or economy class. There's a lack of room and comfort that comes with being in the cheap seats. And once you've tasted the high life of a private jet, or perhaps even first class on a regular plane, you'll never want to go back. If you've got the resources to avoid it, then good for you. But spare a thought for the rest of us. 6. Do they travel by limo? The answer is yes. Some catch a limo to prom, whereas others will legitimately catch one to attend a local event that probably doesn't even require their presence, but they want to show off the limo anyway. They look pretty bizarre given how long they are, but let's be honest with ourselves. They're also really cool, ensuring that they're kept to a high standard and looked after. We certainly wouldn't mind cruising around in one from time to time. Even sitting in one for 5 minutes would be cool with us, all things considered. 5. Do they travel by cruise? The answer is no. A cruise ship is always pretty big and luxurious, but there's just something telling us that it's all a bit too public for the rich. Sure, if it was exclusive and had the grandeur of something like the Titanic, we may be able to understand it a little more. As it turns out though, a yacht would probably be a more intimate setting for a big journey. Maybe the security of knowing how big a cruise is would lure some people to test it out once or twice, but it all depends on how recognizable they are. 4. Do they travel by train, first class? The answer is yes. Trains are a lot more fun than most folks give them credit for. Sure, they can be late more often than not, and the economy class is absolutely trash 90% of the time. But a first-class train experience is super relaxing. You are almost guaranteed to get a wonderful view. The service is usually great, and you're always right at your destination upon stepping off the train. With a plane, one of the biggest problems is that you've got to go through security and deal with all of the chaos that comes alongside that. Trains eliminate all that hassle. 3. Do they travel by bicycle? The answer is no. Cycling is a great way of getting around and staying fit. But as opposed to falling into the trap of thinking that the rich use this as their form of exercise, realize that they probably have a private gym and many personal trainers that will sort all of that out for them. A motorbike is probably more likely to be parked in the garage of the wealthy, but those pedal bikes, they are mostly the transport of the masses. 2. Do they travel by sports car? Well, the answer is yes. The thing about sports cars is that there are just so many options in so many different colors and styles in the modern age, and it's kind of overwhelming. It's a statement to drive around in a fancy sports car, and making a statement is what the rich love to do, whether it's the look of it or the sound of how fast it's actually going. You know that you arrived on the big stage when people stop and stare at what you've got to offer. To be fair, they often do look absolutely stunning. 1. Do they travel by walking? The answer is no. Walking is good for you, gets you some fresh air, and allows you to have some fun interactions with people that you otherwise wouldn't even know existed. If you're rich and famous though, there's always the possibility that you don't care about any of the points that we've just made. Instead, the priority will be doing what's easiest, because you're capable of spending all the money necessary to get over that hurdle. They say walk before you can run, but we aren't so sure they do either. Then again, we're open to being proven wrong. And with that, we've reached the end of this video all about how the world's wealthiest people travel. If you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content just like this.